Shall we begin? Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
This is not a drill.
Repeat, this is not a drill.
Is that all you got?
Let's begin now.
What up? Oh, for sure.
in my dreams, I walk free in the city streets. 2,500 days plus 50 weeks, doing hard time for these WikiLeaks, trying to bring the truth out. Man, it only gets you heat, and then they gag you. You don't get to speak, and when you get the leak, they try to hit the leak. The masters of the masses, they want this shit to street. That's why my middle finger's up to these sick elites playing on the regular.
You keep the messenger.
Free speech is the freedom of press. Take your deepest, darkest secrets, never leave them unsaid. If I'm a thief, then I'm a thief for the people you dread. The people want the red, while the blue you keep them in bed. Seeking the sheep, keep them asleep, deceiving the weak. Keep seeking the leech till you cease, and I see your defeat. Until I'm deceased underneath a freeze of red sheep. Become a dead man, then I hit the switch and release. When Goldman Sachs is your creditor.
You keep the messenger.
Outside my window, a figure quickly creeps. They dark as night, like some motherfucking chimney sweeps. Whiskey what my Mickey keeps, dying in my kidneys weak. Silence of my risky tweets, what the grand jury seeks. I'm wanting peace, like 7 years in Tibet. Now rest in peace, like 7 years under threat. Cause I released 7 vaults, they upset. They ended the rape sentence, but the US still insists to rest. I guess it's a sin to take the truth and disseminate. MLK to Gandhi, take him and eliminate. And I don't say I'm great, just wanna say what's fake. But if they kill me, a million others will take my place. The CIA's post like a knife the sharpest. All hypocrisy, lies, and heartless. They want to stop me, my life, make my heart quit. Cause democracy dies in the darkness. Cause democracy dies in the darkness. You kill the messenger.
You kill the messenger.
Democracy dies in the darkness.
Darkness.
Hi everyone, how's it all going? Happy New Year. I've missed that song. I really have missed that song. Great song. James Gets It. Link is below to, I think it's on SoundCloud or SoundTunes or something like that. Hi Liam, 2020, the year Julian Assange is either released or killed. I'm not sure about that. Although he is, well, his life's in danger. That's for sure. Hi everyone. Happy New Year. For what that's worth, it doesn't seem right at the moment. For reasons I'm sure you're aware of. I've got to tell you something. I was about to go live. Sorry, I did the card for the live, just to announce that I was going live tonight. And I wrote, one of the things I'm going to do tonight is, am I the best journalist in the UK? And you'll find out that I don't think I am, but I then went on to read something just shortly after that, and I read it all, totally missed the date, made a huge cock up on Twitter, and George Galloway retweeted it before I realised, oh fuck, I made a huge mistake. So yeah, very kind of you to say yes I am, but you'll find out. I know I'm not tonight, and my I've just noticed my camera is not quite in focus, so let me just sort that out. Please hit the like button, everybody. Please share the stream if you can as well. We are going to be faced with a huge amount of suppression in the coming 12 months, more than we already have been in the previous 2 years since I've been doing this. That should be a little bit better focus now. That's better. Are the yellow vests still battling on? Somebody's just said in the chat. Dandruff. Yes, they are, mate. Yes, they are. They will be. They'll actually feature prominently in my end of year review, which is coming, by the way. I've done the first part, but the first part was just January and it's 8 minutes long. And when I was collating this, obviously I have to go back and look at all my other videos, etc., that I've done throughout the year. And I was doing that in the run up to Christmas. And there's 2 reasons why I haven't finished it yet. First of all, well, I mean, there's plenty of reasons. I mean, you know, it was Christmas. I had a drink and a smoke and food, and enjoyed myself. But there's two main reasons I haven't finished it yet, and I apologise for that. But you know what, sue me. Hey, it's January now. I'll get it finished. The first is that when I went back and looked at the 12 months and I was writing it, honestly, it's like when you're in a forest and you can't see the woods for the trees, you know? It's only when you step back and see things almost from outside and see the big picture, you start realising, oh shit, it's far worse than even I was explaining at the time. Even my shouting at, screaming at the screen and yelling and getting animated, however badly I was, it still doesn't do it justice as to just how bad the news was last year. The other reason is, and she's probably going to kill me for this, because I got engaged. That's why. And I wanted to spend some time enjoying my Christmas with, I was going to say my girlfriend then, but she's not my girlfriend. She's in the chat. She's Titch. She's the, yeah, getting married. But yeah, that's why. But I'll get it finished over the next couple of days. And hopefully you will enjoy it. So it is coming. I have written it, by the way. I've written the whole thing. I just haven't recorded it yet. You can probably, if I just take this away, you can see what I mean. See? I actually record with that now, with the green screen. And then add everything in afterwards on the videos that I do. I'm doing it for the end of the year, and it's technical, and I'm learning. I'm not the best with technology, so I'll learn. Everybody's saying congratulations in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Congratulate Titch as well. She's the one who's got to put up with me and put up with this stuff. Hello, dog. What's the matter? What do you want? Go and lie down. Go away. Go on. Go and lie down. Sorry about that. Yeah. And that's why it's took longer. Okay. When I was doing the end of year review that I was just talking about, when I was doing my end of year review, I remember thinking of how January was nuts. And I remember in the review I said, January last year was nuts. It was crazy, wasn't it? I mean, if you think about the stories in January, we had the whole blow up of the Integrity Initiative I covered, and finding out that they were heavily involved in the narrative surrounding the Skripal poisonings, and it was scripted in advance, etc. And then we found out that the excuse me, and then we found out that the first person on the scene wasn't the copper that we were told. Nick Bailey, I think his name was. It wasn't him after all. It was the army nurse. No, that's not a typo. Not the army nurse. It was not an army nurse, it was the army nurse who got an OBE for the Queen and was trained in treating deadly diseases. Then we got the whole Venezuela thing, that all blew up last January with Guaido, etc. So it was an incredible way to start the year, at least so I thought, because so far we're not even a week into 2020 and already Australia is on fire, and pretty soon the rest of the world might be too. Why? Well, because Donald Trump, President of the United States, still can't quite grasp that. Well, he gave an order to assassinate Iran's top general, Soleimani, I think his name was, although nobody had heard of him up until 4 days ago. Everybody's an expert on him now in the media, apparently. The reason we were given that they assassinated this general was to de-escalate tensions. Okay. Well, let me just cut in, because this is a de-escalation, is it? No, we'll see. This is breaking news right now. The US-led coalition tells Iraqi military that it will withdraw from Iraq out of respect for the nation's sovereignty. Yes, Iraq have voted, the parliament have voted to kick America out. Originally, Trump said, no, we're not leaving. Pompeo said, we're not leaving. Trump said, yeah, we want paid for our airfield first. But it looks like Well, they're saying they're repositioning. I'm assuming they won't be going home. They'll be just repositioning to other countries surrounding Iran. As I said at the time, I'm considering de-escalating tensions with Russia by assassinating one of their most loved generals. Good idea? Sounds great, doesn't it? Sounds like a perfect idea. Of course it wasn't. We got the news yesterday that the UK have sent 2 ships to the Strait of Hormuz. They're saying to resume accompaniments of UK-flagged commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. If you think that's all they've gone for, want to buy a bridge? Of course, this is escalating tensions. It's not de-escalating them at all. I honestly wonder about our country. I do. Because let's remember, America elected Donald Trump as president. Grab them by the pussy. You know, why can't we take out their families? And then they're acting nuts now because he's planning to bomb cultural sites, apparently. This is who the man is. And more worryingly, the United Kingdom are just following him in to what could lead to a massive scale war. If Kanye West gets to be president next, would the UK send our tanks to Texas if he declared war on Taylor Swift? I'm betting we would. I'm betting we would. Without question. The Iranians, of course, they are not happy about their top general being assassinated, and you will find out exactly why. By the way, it's worse than just assassinating one of their generals. You'll find out in the stream it's worse. Far worse. And they're not talking about this in the media. In our old media, as I'm going to be calling them this year. They're not talking about it in our old media at the moment. Afshin Ratanzi says, for the first time, the red flag signifying global war is raised over the Jamkoran Mosque in the holy city of Qom in Iran, where Muqtada al-Sadr studied before his return to Iraq. The Iranians are obviously going to strike back. And I've heard lots of people saying that this is a huge mistake by Donald Trump. This is not a huge mistake. You might think of it and look at it and say, oh, he's made a huge mistake here. And maybe he has. But this was always planned. They were always going to war with Iran. Look at my videos of the last 2 years. I've been documenting how they are circling it. One of the first videos I did was to look back at the history of Iran and America because I knew there was going to be bullshit flying in the coming months and years, and I wanted to get my facts straight first. This is not unplanned. The timing may be earlier than they wanted or later, or depending if you've seen the Wesley Clark 7 Countries video, no doubt. But this has been in the works and been planned for a long, long time. And where we were heading in the UK and the US has always been a path towards war with Iran for the last 20 years. Because we have given all of our power and all of the power in this country to a bunch of sociopathic fucking psychopaths. Remember weapons of mass destruction? Do you remember the lies we were told about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? There were the media beating the drums for war. 45-minute warnings we had. Oh, we could be hit by the UK. We would get 45 minutes of a chemical attack by Assad. Do you remember that? I fucking do. The Chilcot report made it quite clear that this was a bad thing, and our media must stop it in the future. They must refrain from doing this in the future. Look at this. 6 ways Britain is a soft target for Iranian attacks. That's the Telegraph. Here's the Sun, or the Scum as I call it. Easy targets. Iran threatens to kill British soldiers as ex-Navy chief says UK is softer target than US for revenge attacks. Iran threat. Britain a soft target for Soleimani revenge attacks. Dire warning. Can you see what they're doing? Can you see it now? Here's some more. Breitbart. Lovely, lovely outlet. Breitbart. Admiral fears UK a soft target as Iran warns Brits will be collateral damage in the war with the US. Here's the Daily Mail, and look at this pile of shit. Look at all the fucking advertisements on it. Look at it. It's literally just adverts and pictures. No doubt the people who pick up the Mail online need a little help with their reading. Britons in Egypt could be targets for terrorists, says the Foreign Office. They just regurgitate it, regurgitate the propaganda, regurgitate whatever will beat the drums of war. It's sickening. And they are doing it again, and they will do it again and again and again and again. Here's the Sun, again. Stay alert. Western tourists in Egypt warn they are an easy target for terror attacks after Iran general's execution. What was the Iran general's execution? Scum. Because if you were on the other end of that, that would sound like a fucking terrorist attack to me. They are doing it again, the media are. Again and again and again. They don't stop. Express World War III threat. Terrifying target. Details of Iran's imminent military retaliation exposed. Just repeating whatever the defence of this country, whatever the intelligence community, whatever lies that they're told, they just repeat it and splash it on the pages of their piece of shit. Here's what they have actually said. Here's Hezbollah. They're saying we can differentiate between American civilians, etc. Obviously, Hezbollah from... you understand what I'm talking about here. They are saying we're not going to go after civilians. We're not. We're not going to go after civilian targets. This is what they're saying at the other end. This is what Hezbollah are saying. This is what Iran are doing. Obviously, most people say Hezbollah backed by Iran, etc. But we're not going. We differentiate between people and nations. When they shout in Iran at the end of their prayers, when they don't shout death to Americans, they don't shout death to Israelis. They shout death to America and death to Israel. They differentiate between the psychopaths running the country and the ordinary people who haven't got a clue what their country is doing in their name. That's the truth of it. He's an actual, real, quality journalistic outlet. Let's see what they say. This is from Max Blumenthal in the Grey Zone. Iraqi PM reveals Soleimani was on a peace mission when assassinated, exploding Trump's lie of imminent attacks. This is the reason that they said that they, well, let's face it, killed him, assassinated him, that he was going to be masterminding imminent attacks against Americans. Pompeo eventually, oh no, it wasn't Americans at home, it was like over there in the Middle East where they shouldn't be, where the service members shouldn't be. The Trump administration claimed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani was planning imminent attacks on US interests when it assassinated him. That lie was just destroyed, but not before countless corporate media outlets transmitted it to the public. Of course, all of the outlets I just showed you, they would have all gone along with it. Imminent attacks, imminent attacks, imminent attacks. Desperate to justify the US drone assassination of Iranian Major General Qasem Soleimani, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo insisted that Washington had made an intelligence-based assessment that Soleimani was actively planning in the region to attack American interests before he was killed. That's what we were told. That's what our Mockingbird media all ran with. President Donald Trump justified his fateful decision to kill the Iranian general even more explicit language, declaring that Soleimani was planning, quote, imminent attacks on US diplomatic facilities and personnel across the Middle East. We took action last night to stop a war, Trump claimed. We did not take action to start a war. Of course, that's how you de-escalate things, by killing your opponent's major general. Trump's dubious rationale for an indisputably criminal assassination has been repeated widely across corporate media networks and often without skepticism or debate. At a January 3rd State Department briefing, where reporters finally got the chance to demand evidence for the claim of imminent threat, one US official erupted in anger. Jesus, do we have to explain why we do these things? They don't want to answer to anybody. They want to go around the world killing people and assassinating people and stealing countries' oil with impunity. They don't want to answer to people. They're better than you. They know better. 2 days later, when Iraqi Prime Minister Adil Abdul Mahdi, I apologise if I get any of these Persian names wrong, I'm very sorry, Westerner, addressed his country's parliament, Trump's justification for killing Soleimani was exposed as a cynical lie. According to Abdullah Mahdi, he had planned to meet Soleimani on the morning the general was killed to discuss a diplomatic rapprochement that Iraq was brokering between Iran and Saudi Arabia. That's weird, isn't it? They want to de-escalate a war, but it looks to me like Iran and Saudi Arabia were brokering some sort of, peace deal of some sort. Plot thickens. Abdul Mahdi said that Trump personally thanked him for the efforts, even as he was planning to hit on Soleimani, thus creating the impression that the Iranian general was safe to travel to Baghdad. Do you remember when they told Saddam Hussein, we don't care. We don't care if you invade. Soleimani had arrived in Baghdad not to plan attacks on American targets, but to coordinate de-escalation with Saudi Arabia. Indeed, he was killed while on an actual peace mission that could have created political distance between the Gulf monarchy and members of the US-led anti-Iran axis like Israel. The catastrophic results of Soleimani's killing recall the Obama administration's 2016 assassination of Mullah Akhtar Mohammed Mansour, a Taliban leader who was eager to negotiate a peaceful end to the US occupation of Afghanistan. Mansour's death wound up empowering hardline figures in the Taliban who favoured a total military victory over the US and triggered an uptick in violence across the country, dooming hopes for a negotiated exit. Whenever there's an outbreak of peace, the United States seem to want to throw a bomb at it. Literally bombing for peace. War is peace, everybody. Freedom is slavery. Oh dear. Trump, for his part, tweeted a litany of gangster-like threats, promising to destroy Iranian cultural sites if it retaliated and pledging to sanction Iraq like they've never seen before if it ousted US troops. There's been a lot of this by Trump, swinging his dick around on Twitter, as George Carlin would say. God rest his soul. Trump's treacherous assassination has brought the US closer to war than ever before against a country more military potent than any adversary it had faced since the Korean War. And as with the failed US invasion of Iraq, Washington's casus belli for, I don't know even how to pronounce that actually, Max, you're a smarter man than me, for triggering this conflict was based on falsified intelligence sold to Americans by administration officials and on a pliant Beltway media acting as their megaphone. Just shown over here in the UK. You can imagine what it's like in America. Excuse me. With its claim of, quote, imminent attacks, this article continued, the Trump administration has essentially remixed Condoleezza Rice's 2003 warning that we don't want the smoking gun to be a mushroom cloud. Back then, the United States attacked a sovereign state to rid it of WMDs that did not exist. This time, it killed the second most important Iranian official to prevent a killing spree that was not on the way. And Trump administration officials knew they were lying. In fact, Pompeo pitched assassinating Soleimani to Trump several months ago, well before any attacks were imminent. And in wake of the general's killing, a US official revealed to the New York Times that the NSA had intercepted communications the United States had between Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and General Soleimani, showing that the Ayatollah had not yet approved any plans by the general for an attack, but the preponderance of evidence exposing Trump's basis for killing Soleimani as a titanic lie and not generated the same level of media interest as the lie itself. On January 3rd, CNN assigned 3 reporters to disseminate the Trump administration's disinformation about Soleimani, claiming without a hint of critical detachment that he was, quote, planning specific attacks on US interests, including US personnel. After the story went live, CNN's lead reporter Jim Sciutto reached out to another official US source to confirm his now discredited piece of war propaganda. In Sciutto's mind, if more than one US official says a thing, it must be true. This is why I think these things are written by 3 or 4 different people in these newspapers. They have to all try and get a leak, from the intelligence service to each one of them, and then each one of them get a leak from assumed different sources. Then they've got the story. We did our due diligence. No, you didn't. You were duped into writing propaganda. You absolute horrors. Sciutto is not any run-of-the-mill national security reporter, Max continues. During the Obama era, he accepted a job as a chief of staff at the US Embassy in Beijing, placing himself at the centre of Washington's gathering Cold War with China. Now back behind CNN's anchor desk, Sciutto poses a ferocious critic of Trump while providing the Pentagon and State Department with reliable stenographic services. No president in recent history has been despised more viscerally by the Beltway press corps than Trump. Nearly everything he says is met with disdain and suspicion, even when he is telling the truth. But when Trump and his administration attempt to lie the public into war against a designated evildoer, a swath of corporate media responds with reflexive trust, then shrugs when the lie is exposed in broad daylight. Great article, Max Blumenthal. Great article. And as he alluded to at the end there, the same people, likewise over here in the UK, the same people in our old media, as I am calling them this year, the old media, because they are, who are currently beating the drums for war with articles sourced from, quote, intelligence leaks. These are the same outlets who cheered on the weapons of mass destruction lie and the disastrous wars in the Middle East that came from it. And the same outlets, those same outlets, which until recently, and these were the same outlets, remember? Start that again. These were the same outlets, remember, that until very, very recently, wasn't ready. These are the same outlets, by the way, that until very, very recently was saying that Jeremy Corbyn was the danger to national security. Well, he's the son. Jeremy Corbyn is a danger to national security and unfit to become Prime Minister, warns former MI6 chief. Is the Evening Standard. Jeremy Corbyn is a danger to national security, former MI6 chief claims. Look at it. He's the Telegraph. Former MI6 chief claims Corbyn is a danger to national security. Jeremy Corbyn and national security. Corbyn a security risk. Hague lists 5 reasons why Labour leader can't be trusted. They won't stop. We have opened Pandora's box. Say we, the Americans, have opened Pandora's box. Iran are going to hit back, of that you can be sure. There will be massive blowback from this. They're having 3 days of mourning, and then I'm assuming all hell will break loose. It won't be missiles. It'll be cyber attacks. It'll be missiles. It won't be on I think military facilities. It'll be on oil facilities. You saw what's happened over the last year. There will be blowback from this. This is a crime, and it is a crime that is not going to go unpunished. They said that. It's a crime that must be avenged. And we have no idea what is going to happen next, or how the US will respond, and how Trump will respond. Like I say, Trump has been waving his dick around on Twitter for almost 3 days now with threats of annihilation of one kind or another if Iran respond to this crime. We shall see what he does when Iran responds. Whatever it is that happens, whatever Trump and the neocons do, you can bet this. Put money on it right now. Boris Johnson and the rest of America's little bitches down there in the UK establishment will be right up his orange arsehole while he does it. Even if that means it brings more terrorism to our shores. Yet Corbyn was the security threat. In fact, I say that, I'm going to end on this, because I say he could have brought terrorism to our shores. After reading this article by Max Blumenthal, this excellent article, I've got a horrible feeling that bringing terrorism to our shores is the intention. Because they certainly don't want peace, do they? Incredible. It's incredible, everyone. If Kanye, like I say, if Kanye West was elected, would we follow him into, whatever war he wanted to go? If he declared war on the moon, would we send, some nukes up there? For the last 3 years, our media have been saying that this is a puppet of Vladimir Putin. I saw. You're not going to believe this. Well, you are. You are going to believe this. This is literally the Washington Post. I saw it. The Washington Post. Are you ready? Russia stands to benefit as Middle East tensions spike after Soleimani killing. It's Russia. Putin made Trump do it. Putin made Trump bomb that guy. That's our media. War is bullshit. Yes, it is, Jolly Ollie. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Hi, everybody. Just go and see if I've got any super chats while I was doing that segment. Wow, 34 minutes past. That was 30 minutes long. 30 minutes. All right. Gordon is blinded by his support for Labour, says Keith M. You haven't watched my shit, have you, mate? You haven't watched my shit if you're saying blinded by my support for Labour. You really haven't watched my stuff. Keith, I had members of Labour not just pulling their patronage from me last year, but then going on my comments and trying to get other people in Labour to stop supporting me because I was critical of their Saint Corbyn. Blinded by his support for Labour. Go fuck yourself, mate. You're just fucking blinded by his support for Labour. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Keith. You idiot. Blinded by his support for Labour. He's still chatting. Conservatives and Labour are run by the same hidden hand, he says. Which hidden hand is that, mate? You're going to say something anti-Semitic, aren't you? Eh? How long before Keith M says the J word in the chat? What do you reckon? You should run for Parliament, says Brilliant Wonderful. No, I shouldn't, mate. No, I really shouldn't. I really shouldn't. What's the matter, little dog? No, I shouldn't run for Parliament. I wouldn't last 2 seconds. I mean, go away. Go on. Go and lie down. Go away. Go and lie down. Now. Little bugger she is. Chich had already told him he's going to look like a twat. He did. He looked like a twat. Good. Pro-Labour bias. Too funny. Too funny. Let me close these down. Desktop. Audio.
On Saturday the 7th of April.
Alright. Yes, that was Theresa May. Super chat, $4.99 from Gene Sheed. Thank you, Gene. Thank you very much for your support. Ben Norton just did an interview with Status Quo that is extremely informative of the US war efforts. Ben Norton is great. I'll have to get him on. I haven't had a chance, really. I've got a lot of things that I've set up, everybody. I've got a couple of interviews. I've got one interview set up this week. It won't be a Skype interview. I'm actually going to go out to them, people that you have heard of. And I've got one interview set up. I've got another 2 that have said yes, and we're just trying to figure out the time, and hopefully by that, the end of the month. And I'm trying to fit others in as well to try and get the word of experts and trying to get the word of experts and get more information on the things that are happening at the moment. People like Ben Norton, Gene, he's great. So hopefully I'll reach out to Ben and Max, and hopefully either Ben can come on again or Max, and we'll find out some more with regards to Iran. I know a lot. I don't know the massive amount. Well, I know more than most people, obviously, but those guys are, they're brilliant. Chichi's gorgeous, says Jeffrey Long. Fucking hands off, pal. I'm watching you. My fiance. Fiance. Yeah, the dog always wants to join in, mate. She gets excited. Dogs are always ready to party, aren't they? My computer's really slowing down, people, so I've just opened up something that is taking an age now to open up properly. Oh, come on, don't mess me about. So yeah, if it judders or you get a little bit of break up in the stream, you'll know why. Bring that over here. Ellie looking beautiful in her new bandana. She knows more than Keith. She does, Camel. She knows more than Keith. Yeah, even Ellie knows that I'm not blinded by my support of Labour. My support of Labour. My God. I'm harder on Labour than I am on the Conservatives. Trolls. They really haven't got a clue. So, question. Am I the best journalist the United Kingdom has to offer? Should say that better. I'm going to drop this as a video. Question. Am I the best journalist the United Kingdom has to offer? Serious question. Because I'm about to show you some, I think, pretty compelling evidence that I am, in fact, the best journalist the United Kingdom has to offer. Don't believe me? You remember this, right?
On Saturday the 7th of April, up to 75 people, including young children, were killed in a horrific attack in Duma, with as many as 500 further casualties. All indications are that this was a chemical weapons attack.
All indications were from the same people that are currently leaking details of Iran and Iran's imminent threats against us to the media, who are then regurgitating it. You see the way things work.
UK medical and scientific experts have analysed open source reports, images and video footage from the incident.
From the White Helmets and Bellingcat. She didn't mention them by name there because, yeah, the White Helmets and Bellingcat are seriously discredited organisations. The main guy at Bellingcat basically said, yeah, I'm so skillful at deciphering things. I got all of my training on video games. The fuck? Seriously? You're an expert on who dropped weapons in Syria? Because you played Call of Duty?
And concluded that the victims were exposed to a toxic chemical. This is corroborated by first-hand accounts from NGOs and aid workers. While the World Health Organization received reports that hundreds of patients arrived at Syrian health facilities on Saturday night with signs and symptoms consistent with exposure to toxic chemicals. And based on our assessment, we do not think that these reports could be falsified on this scale.
I think you'll find my reporting over the last 2 years has proved, oh, yes it can. Yes it can. I won't play that on. Obviously you know what happened next. And a week later after that was a trilateral bombing of Syria. That was Prime Minister Theresa May, shortly after an alleged chemical attack by Assad on his own people. Now, I have shown many, many times on this channel that clip. I've done it almost every single video that I have done. I have done extensive work on this. Don't believe me? Here we go. These are all the videos I've done. So if you go to my videos tab right here, and then you type in OPCW, which is, OPCW or Duma, you can see all of the videos I've done: 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 31 minutes, 14 minutes, 18 minutes, 42 minutes, 14 minutes. There's one on the Skripals, 10 minutes. There's another one on the Skripals. There's another one. There's Chris Williamson confronting Theresa May. He never got an answer on that. There's another 5 minutes. I have done hours and hours and hours of work on this. Since that incident, that alleged chemical weapons attack in Duma in 2018, April 2018, I've done hours of work on it. There you go. There's the evidence. You can see I am pretty much as clued up on this event as anybody in the media. Hours. Absolutely hours there. Not just of the research that went into it, but hours of me on camera, talking into the media, talking into the camera, presenting facts and compelling evidence that the story that Assad was responsible for a chemical attack in the city of Duma was a fabrication of events. I remember saying at the time, Sun Tzu's quote, when your enemy is almost defeated, do something that's going to bring the wrath of powers much larger than you upon you. It made no sense. I presented hours of compelling evidence here on the videos. Hours. Which our old lying mockingbird media have all but ignored. There is not a single media outlet in this country. And I want to make this clear. Alright? I want to make this clear. There is not a single media outlet in this country that has covered this story as well as I have. Not one of them. Just think about that. Just think about that for a second. Me, alone in my council flat, on an income of about £1,000 a month, if you average it out over the last year, can scoop the entire UK media, including supposed adversarial independent media like Novara and the Canary, although the Canary have been on holiday for a couple of weeks and they haven't covered this yet. I'm watching you, Canary. But I scooped them all on one of the biggest scandals of this century so far. Ask yourself, for that to be the case, either how great am I, or just how disgustingly terrible at their job must our supposed journalists in this country be? Well, a few days ago, a journalist that some say is one of the best in the country, well, he reported a revelation on this OPCW debacle, the lie in the OPCW, and that is Robert Fisk of The Independent. Robert Fisk, you may remember, was one of the only people to actually go to Duma and report on the events, and he was the guy who found that no, it wasn't. They weren't suffering from the after effects of a chemical attack like we were told, those people in the hospital. What it actually was a staged event. They were suffering from hypoxia. The White Helmets came in, shouted gas, started sprinkling water on kids' heads. Everybody, what the hell was going on? They got their film. Theresa May swallowed it. We bombed their country. I'm not going to read this article. I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to read this article for you, because there is absolutely nothing of any magnitude in there that I haven't told you already in the videos that I have done. Okay? I'll leave a link below for you to go and read it if you want. Suffice it to say that the only thing in there that I didn't know had happened was there was a mysterious guy who phoned him once and met him once somewhere and said, yeah, the OPCW, they're not, yeah, there's suppressed reports. And that's it. Everything else in that article, I had already told you. Okay? The latest revelations in this article that Fisk is talking about, the internal emails leaked by WikiLeaks just before Christmas, I think it was, I talked to you about in this video. 27th of December. 27th of December. That's when I released the video. I actually did it earlier than this because I did it in a live stream. I think I might have done it before Christmas. 1st of January. He wrote that. So Robert Fisk, multi-award winning journalist, he reports on it on the 1st of January. I reported on it on the 27th of April. And the only things I didn't already know were his clandestine little tip-offs from a mysterious dude in that article, which really was of no consequence whatsoever, other than it should have given him even more ammunition to actually release that information. I reported on the stuff that he's reporting in The Independent, and he's the only one to report it in our media. I reported on it a week before he did. A whole week. While I was on my Christmas break. Think about that. I, a person who left school at 15 to work as a machinist and got fired from it, I think before I turned 16, has had 2 failed businesses in his life and a bankruptcy, who smokes about a half an ounce of weed a week, getting paid £1,000 a month and working from his council flat in the Black Country, scooped multi-award winning reporter Robert Fisk and The Independent and the entire British media on a massive story a week before anybody in the media reported on it, with all their money, their power and their contacts and their skill. I did all that while I was on fucking holiday. The rest of our media in this country haven't reported on that at all. At the same time as the United Kingdom is following the United States into yet another regime change war in the Middle East that is going to cost millions of fucking lives. And they're silent. The other revelation, by the way, Fisk made in that article was about the WikiLeaks, the previous WikiLeaks release. The previous WikiLeaks release that I talked about on the 27th of November. It took The Independent over a month to report on the stuff that I report on. Honestly, this is insane. It's no wonder at times in the last year I've honestly felt like I'm going nuts. What I have just shown you is evidence that your country and your media are lying to you yet again to get you into war. To take away all your nice things to pay for war. They could even be covering up for war crimes that have been committed. Think about that. It's the connotations of them. They might even be involved in a few of them that have happened. Those dead bodies had to come from somewhere in Duma. The worrying thing is they might even be planning more of them right now as we follow an orange narcissist into war in the Middle East, another one. So with all this in mind, I'd come back to the question. If I'm the only one in the UK reporting on these, does that mean I am the best journalist in the UK? No, obviously not, but that's the whole point of this video. And Robert Fisk, by the way, is a far better reporter than I will ever be or ever claim to be. I'm not better than him. Fair play to him for his reporting on Duma. I can only imagine the great pressures were put upon him and massive obstacles were put in front of him even before he got that information out, and I really appreciate it. He's a far better journalist than I ever could be and far more courageous. Let's face it. Do you think I want to live in the Middle East and report from a possible chemical weapons attack sites? Fuck no. I don't like the smog in London, let alone possible chlorine. Although, in this case, it looks like London would have been more toxic for you than Duma on that day. I am not the best journalist in the country. I'm not even saying I'm a good one. By any journalistic standard, I am not a good journalist or reporter. But I am something that other people in our media are not. I'm honest. Which is, in my opinion, the best quality a journalist can have. And unfortunately, one that so seldom people in our country possess. And why? Why is this? Is it because honest people aren't attracted to journalism? Of course they are. I love my job. But an honest journalist would not be able to make it in our media as it stands today. And it's set up like that for a reason. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. Our news media in the UK, their careers are fully and wholly reliant on the very same people that they are supposed to hold account. The very same people who allow them to keep their status as Guardian columnist and the lifestyle and the accolades that accompany it. So while I might not be the best journalist in the United Kingdom, I am honest and I am truthful. Which is why I would never stand a chance at any mainstream or old media outlet in this country right now, even though I'm out scooping them by months in some cases. And while I don't have millions behind me or powerful people or the right contacts, what I do have is you, the public, the people who old media lies to on the daily and treats like mushrooms, keeping you in the dark and feeding you on bullshit. I have you to support me. And therefore, you're the people I'm accountable to. And that's exactly how our media in the 21st century should be. It's exactly how our news media in the 21st century needs to operate if we are to have any chance of avoiding an Orwellian nightmare of a future. Because without honest journalists, we won't have a clue what is going on in the world. If you want proof of that, most people right now don't. Because 99% of them out there do not have a clue that we might have committed the supreme war crime in Duma. Support independent media, because you're not getting the truth from anywhere else. In 2020, make your New Year's resolution to support us, to support independent media wherever you can, with whatever you can. Please do it. £1 a month is all we need from you if enough of you do it. Wherever possible, support us. If you can support us with more than £1, £2, £3, £5 if you want, £10 if you want to push the boat out, please do. Because without us, we're not going to survive. We're going to go away. And you won't have a chance in hell of making Orwell fiction again. Happy New Year, everyone. You have lots of common sense and can see bullshit a mile away, said Cal Cassidy. I used to have a knack for that. Bullshit! He used to call it bullshit! That's bullshit! That's bullshit! I used to do it all the time at school. That used to drive them mad. I think that's all the stories I've got. I am doing other research. I'm doing research into just a little tidbit for you for an upcoming video. You know, all the weapons of mass destruction and Assad still has 20,000 barrels of chlorine and all of these, intelligence leaks, all of these things. And do you remember I did a video on Shikani, on the Novichok thing? There was a Newsnight special that said, oh, this Novichok can only come from Shikani in Russia. And I'm like, dude, I could buy the shit, I can buy the formula for it off Amazon. Look, there's a book. It could only become... All of those things, all of those lies, all of them came from one person. One! Yet the media still keep going back to him. I'll be talking about that in the next few days. I just want to, before I'll go to the super chats in a second. I just want to make people aware of this. First of all, there is a Stop the War rally on the weekend in London. Where is it? Just bear me a second, people. We'll get there in a second. Here we are. Okay, that's the Assange one. I want to tell you about that. Yeah, there's a Stop the War rally in London on Saturday. If you can get to it, please do. Now, unfortunately, I can't. I've already made plans that would mean I'm really cutting it fine. I don't think I'd be able to get down there in time because I've got an interview on Friday and I've got to obviously edit that on the night time. I'm not going to get down there. Now, Titch hopefully is going to go and get me some footage from it, but I'm expecting it might be big. This might. It might be big. I'm just trying to find details of it for you. Oh, shit, I can't find it now. Damn. Oh, I haven't got it set up. It's on Saturday anyway. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's on Saturday. I think they said it's 11 o'clock. So have a look on Twitter. Go to @StopTheWar, and they'll give you details of it. The other thing I want to talk to you about is this. There's a solidarity action via Julian Assange's defence on January the 25th of this month at 2 p.m. at Belmarsh with French protesters. Yeah, going to be quite a few of them, I think. Just to let you know, the last time some gilets jaunes turned up outside Westminster Magistrates, I had a big croissant in my mouth, you might remember, because they bought the croissants. They're awesome. They're awesome. We're chucking Christmas trees at Macron's mercenaries in December, I noticed. That's in my end of year review. Right, let's go to Super Chats. What's the matter, Els? What's the matter? Hey? Am I ignoring you? Am I ignoring you? Check a paw. Yeah. No, but nothing. Carlo Cousins. Hi, Carlo. Thanks very much. £5 in the super chat. Hey, Gordon. Love your work. You and the likes of Carl Kalinske will restore my faith in humanity. Thanks very much, Carlo. Kyle is brilliant. He really is good. He's been doing this a lot longer than me as well. God, he's like 10 years he's been doing this now, something like that. 10 years. I remember I went back. Here's something. When I was thinking about doing this, I could see obviously the way, the forces were sort of aligning against independent media. Just bear me a second. Ellie, come away from there, please. Go and lie down. Don't be a good girl. Lie down. Lie down. Yeah, I could see the way the forces were coalescing to just try and, and silence independent media. And I saw the crap that they were under. And it's one of the reasons why I jumped in and did this. I mean, I'd written that Russiagate book and I wanted to obviously sell that. But it's one of the reasons why I jumped in was to do it. Now, I'm actually not extroverted. I'm an introvert. I'm actually quite shy. My mum still hasn't got many pictures of me. But I did it nonetheless, and one of the reasons, one of the pushes that I got was going back and watching Carl Kalinski's stuff from when his first video. Go and look at it. Who sent me the message? Carlo Cousins. Go and look at his first video. I swear, in Carl Kalinski's first video, he's doing it in his shed, I think. But in his first video, he said the words, "I like Hillary." I swear, I like Hillary. He said that. Go watch it. Snorky 2K, thanks for the $2 on the super chat, Snorky. No toxic chemicals, no Big Macs were dropped. And how do I say that? Take-heel, thanks very much. $1.99 in the chat, thanks for your reporting and for WikiLeaks. Okay, okay, WikiLeaks. Yeah, thanking WikiLeaks. That is awesome. Thank you very much. They have never published anything factually untrue. WikiLeaks. Yeah. Pompeo wants to call them a terrorist organisation or something like that for publishing the truth. Unreal. That's it for tonight, everybody. I will be back tomorrow. The end of year review will be done. Obviously, I'm gonna finally, sit down and record that in the morning, the whole thing or the rest of it, and edit all the bits and pieces. So that will be finished over the next couple of days. There's no bit of great rush though. I'll drop the videos from tonight. I'll probably be back sometime in the next 24, 48 hours with some more details of how the establishment are screwing you and lying to you. Take care, everybody. Good night, all. Make Orwell fiction again. Support independent media. Thanks to everybody who has supported me, by the way, over the last year or two. I really appreciate it. And this year, I'm going to make it my mission to expose these motherfuckers. All right? I promise you. I'll do what I can. Take care, everybody. Love you all. And happy 2020.